The Nazis brought order to Germany. In the 1920s, there had been 28 political parties fighting for control of the country. Now there was order and control. Things were changing. We could see these changes, feel these changes.
From all this misery and despair, from all the filth and outward degeneration, it was no longer human beings that emerged, but the deplorable results of deplorable laws. Social activities must never be directed towards philanthropic flim-flam, but rather towards the elimination of the basic deficiencies in the organization of our economic and cultural life that leads to the degeneration of the individual.
Hitler fought hard against his rivals to build a new Germany. We knew there was a price to pay. We knew there could be no progress without sacrifice and struggle. Just as they had struggled in the early days, we now struggled to build our future.
I understood the infamous spiritual terror which the social democracy movement exerted, particularly on the bourgeoisie. At a given signal, it unleashes a veritable barrage of lies and slanders against whatever adversary seems most dangerous. If social democracy is opposed by a doctrine of greater truth, but equally brutal methods, the latter will conquer, though this may require the most bitter struggle. I achieved an equal understanding of the importance of physical terror towards the individual and the masses. Here too, the psychological effect can be calculated with precision. Terror will always be successful, unless opposed by equal terror.
This base approach of Hitler's stormtroopers proved dramatically successful. And once in power, Hitler began the pragmatic task of permanently removing his adversaries. All political parties were outlawed. In 1929, there had been 28 political parties in Germany. In the fall of 1933, there was one, the Nazi Party. In March of 1934, Hitler arrested and executed the leader of his stormtroopers, Ernst Röhm, and his supporters. Röhm controlled the SA and had wanted the revolution to continue until it had completely overthrown the old order. This was not Hitler's approach, and Röhm was removed.
When Stalin heard about the Night of the Long Knives, as it was called, he said, "That Hitler, what a clever fellow. This is the way to deal with your political opponents."
Hitler had chosen to usurp power from within the system, with the support of the people. Hitler had a grand plan. He intended to create a new socio-political order that was to represent a way of life for all future Germans. A way of life that would replace religion, social class, and traditional institutions. Hitler was not looking for these changes to occur overnight. He knew it would take longer, perhaps several generations.
I do not have to worry if you are with me or against me. Where are your children? They're in my camps. They are the new Nazis.
The National Socialist government encouraged immigration and relocation. The countries to which these Jews might immigrate, however, were also anti-Semitic, and few welcomed the Jewish immigrants with open arms. Britain, the United States, and France, like most other countries, refused to increase their quota of immigrants.
During the winter of 39-40, we located our gun under cover in the Eifel Mountains in the Rhineland, ready to advance into France if necessary. On the morning of May 10th, 1940, we were given orders to prepare for an advance. We advanced. The Blitzkrieg strategy of Hitler and General Guderian was devastating and swift. Our panzers advanced at lightning speed through Luxembourg and Belgium, taking everybody by surprise. In only a matter of weeks, we accomplished what could not be accomplished in the 4 years of the Great War. There were fewer casualties during the entire invasion of France than there had been in one day's fighting during the Battle of Flanders. Now the British were trapped at Dunkirk. Göring asked permission from Hitler to use the Luftwaffe to wipe them out completely. Hitler refused. To us, this was a display of Hitler's magnanimous nature.
The loss of France and the subsequent occupation of Western Europe by Hitler's military machine left the British determined to fight to the end. Churchill was not prepared to make any concessions to Hitler. Churchill appealed to Roosevelt. If we go down, you may have a United States of Europe under the Nazi command, far more numerous, far stronger, far better armed than the New World.
On the 21st of June 1941, we were given orders to cross the border into Russia at 2 a.m. the next morning. All along the front, hundreds of thousands of troops moved forward, in tanks, planes, in personnel carriers, on horseback and on foot.
Zum Sterben und zum meiner Ruhe, zum Sterben und zum meiner Ruhe.
Ambassador de Kazanov and I were summoned to the Foreign Office at 4 a.m. on the 22nd of June 1941. I told the men from the Foreign Office I would call a car and be there directly. The Foreign Minister von Ribbentrop's car is waiting at the embassy's gates, I was told down the phone line. Von Ribbentrop and the other members of the Foreign Office were somber. At 2 a.m. this morning, German troops crossed the border into the Union of the Soviet Socialist Republics. As we left his office, von Ribbentrop came quickly after us. "Tell them in Moscow that I was against this war," he whispered into my ear. "Tell them that I tried to persuade Hitler against it, that it can only mean disaster for Germany," he said. I looked silently at him. There was nothing I could say to him.
Mit Freuden zum Sterben und zum meiner Ruhe, zum Sterben und zu meiner Ruhe.